you.
That's just minutes.
Oh. All right, all right. I know the phone been quiet this morning. Something wrong with it.
Oh, really?
I got to figure it out when I get a chance here.
Might have it on silent. Okay.
Find this agenda.
Hey, Janie.
All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. We're gonna now call our meeting to order. If you will, I'm gonna ask you to put your phone on vibrate or turn them off. And I'm gonna ask Attorney Phil Buffington to lead us in the prayer, and Mr. Will Sly to lead us in pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to do your work here in Madison County. Give us patience and wisdom to do your work as we continue forward throughout the remainder of the year and into next year. Guide us to do your will as we work to make our county better, and bless our county residents, elected officials, in their service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Will?
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, good morning. Before we get into our agenda, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving and don't eat too much and be able to come back to work the next week. All right, Ronnie, you up.
Yes, Mr. President, you should have before you the November 7th board minutes. I would ask if there are no changes, the board please approve said minutes.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval.
Motion by
Motion for approval.
Gerald, second by Carl. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Concerned citizen, you got any, Greg?
We have none.
Have none? All right. Thank you. Well, listen, before we get into our public hearing and agenda, I see we have some of my great business folks out there, and Miss Jan Collins. I'm gonna call you, Jan, up and let you go up and do what you have to do, introduce who you want to introduce. So come right on up.
Good morning, Mr. President and Board.
Good morning.
Morning.
We want to thank you for the opportunity of coming today to share with you the agenda, the 2023 legislative agenda that was adopted by our Madison County Business League and Foundation Government Affairs Committee and our Board of Directors. And we ask today that you will consider passing a resolution in support of this agenda for the county, for Madison County for 2023. I have with me today, you know, our Government Affairs Committee Chairman, Phil Buffington, and also past Chairman Ray Ballantyne, and our Vice Chair, John Geary. So we're glad to be here today to make this presentation to you. And now Phil Buffington will share the details.
All right, come on,
And
Phil.
you have a copy of them on your desk.
Yes.
Got it.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, other members of the Board of Supervisors. It's great to be here before y'all today. We appreciate y'all giving us this opportunity. as Jan pointed out, we met with each of y'all and met with other elected officials in the legislative delegation, and we've come up with the legislative priorities that you see before you. I'm just going to briefly discuss those just shortly, because I'm going to stay
Right.
within 3 minutes, if you'll give me that, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
we'll give you 3 minutes.
Everybody knows about Bozeman Road going north and south between Gluckstadt Road and 463. And then we've, as I understand it, we have rebranded Reunion Parkway to Reunion Crossing, which would be Phase 2 and 3, going from Bozeman Road all the way to 51. And so that is our top legislative priority. And it's there as a project together, but we really look at that as infrastructure, and that will be our number one money ask this year. The remaining issues on the agenda as we see them are tweaks that we may need to look for support on, but what we basically got from y'all was, from the standpoint of a project, we would hope that that would be the ask. But broadband, I know there's a couple of things there. We've got funding going on, issues there that I know y'all are addressing, but I also understand that there's a tweak to the statute that y'all would like to see happen. And we got that from Chairman Griffin and Supervisor Banks. And so we want to work with you to get that accomplished too. So we recognize that and know that's a real big part of what y'all are trying to do here. The stormwater drainage and water and sewer, that's a big, long project, I know, but most of that, we believe, is ARPA-related funds. And so, again, as you need us to help you and assist you in that and moving that forward, that's what our intent is there. And then the last is the widening of Interstate 55 between 463 and between 463 and Reunion Crossing, which really will bring that whole project that y'all have been so committed to over the years to fruition when we're able to get that interchange at that section. So those are the 4 issues. We've got a December 15th meeting that we want to invite all of you to attend. It's at Butler Snow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sorry about the timing there. But that's when we're going to provide this legislative agenda, if it's approved by the Board of Supervisors, to the legislative delegation and ask for their support of Madison County in those issues. That's really all I have, unless there are any questions.
All right, any question?
I don't have any question, maybe a statement. Just, I appreciate y'all's help, because it takes a lot of effort and meeting and time to put this agenda together, or put these priorities together. And I like the way that you have them listed with bullet points, because all of them are just as equal, you know, as far as each category that they represent. One is just as important as the other for Madison County. And so these are very important for us to continue our growth, and we appreciate y'all helping putting this together.
Well, and I appreciate that, Mr. Steen, and we really do appreciate each of you taking your time and visiting with us, not only during these meetings and throughout the year, but our hope was, and you're right, not numbering these 1 through 4, because they're all important to Madison County. And we look at the county as a whole. And so what we try to do is really push projects and get this information from y'all and put these on the agenda that really look to better the entire county. And that's our hope there. And we appreciate everything that you do in your service to the county and making sure that happens.
Mr. Banks?
Well, I think we need to pass a resolution. And we don't have one already written up anywhere, but we need to pass a resolution so they can be speaking for the board on these items. And I'd like to make a motion that we do draw up that resolution with these items in it, and be able to give it to Bill and the foundation so that they can pass it on to our delegation.
Yeah, let Mike draw it up. That was your motion.
I'll second that motion.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got a motion by Carl, and then a second by Gerald. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
Motion carried.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank y'all very
Thank
much,
you.
and we
Right.
hope y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Paul, do we need to pass this and put it into the minutes, or is that pretty much what the resolution may do?
Was that just added onto your motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right,
they'll paste that in a minute.
oh, great. See, Sheila, you got me trained to look down there at you right now before. Since you've been saying I didn't look down there, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Thank you.
But thank y'all, guys.
All right.
All right, moving right along. Where are we now? Public hearing. Jeff Cox.
I think it's been continued. There's a second request from the attorney to continue here until December the 19th, is what I see.
All right, the motion. Oh,
Well, Mr. President, let me ask, is there a reason why we go on the 19th and maybe couldn't go to the first meeting or second meeting in January?
I think the
I mean, is it
the thought process here was just a bump, you know, to the next meeting. But obviously, you guys are the ones that are hearing that, so that would be discretionary, you know, up to you guys as to when you set it, whether it's December the 19th or sometime after that. That's completely up to you guys.
From what I understand, I think there are ongoing negotiations going on as we speak, and they're getting very close
Right.
to having I guess, a resolution that would satisfy all those that were concerned.
Do you think they'll have it on the 19th then, as far as an agreement?
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with holidays and people being in and out of town and stuff like that at this point in time. Because I know Ms. Cox was out of town for a week or so early on this month. And so I think I think pushing it back until the 19th would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know any specifics about, Mr. Banks may have heard something, but I do know that they are working towards a resolution.
Yeah, I was just thinking about pushing it on into next January, but if there's a resolution that's coming up, hey, it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
is that
That's
a
your
motion?
motion to push it back?
That'll be my motion. Go
Motion by
ahead.
Carl, second by Gerald?
Yes, to keep it on the 12/19?
Yeah,
Well,
on the
19th.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, as long as it's a resolution that they can come to an agreement on.
Right,
All right.
and I guess if they don't, they can come up here on the 19th and say, hey, we need another couple of weeks.
To fight.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along.
10 items.
Consent items. A motion on the consent item.
I make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Gerald, second by Sheila. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, Mr. Banks.
Yeah, in our watershed meetings that we've been having, we find that it would be best for us to approve Wagner Engineering to go out and meet with all of the townships and their boards and mayors and explain to them what this watershed program and what the watershed needs really are and where, so they can see exactly what's going on with the waters and the developments that are coming in and how we're developing and how it's increasing flooding in certain areas. In trying to make sure that in the future we can practically eliminate flooding or at least have some controls, we need to have everybody on board. That would be all the municipalities and hopefully at some point the development community and homeowner associations. Everybody needs to be getting the same information. And we did a good study, and that study encompassed all of Madison County, and all of Madison County should be made aware of what's in that study. So I'd like to authorize Wagner Engineering, make a motion to authorize Wagner Engineering to set up meetings with all the municipalities to give them a the total briefing of the watershed study that we did.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Cos, second by Gerald. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right. Moving right along. Mike, I think you have a resolution for Soldier John Wesley Henry.
Yes.
What I like you is,
It's here on the system.
what I like you, can you get a hard copy and have it get to Cynthia in here, but give it to Ronnie, so we can have it on with the blue, black, and everything, and want to present it next meeting, where we can have some of the family here.
Yes, it's already on the digital system, so they just can take it off the computer.
Yeah.
All right?
All right.
We'll do this on the 19th. Maybe we'll get John here, Mr. John here, and some of his children.
It'd be a nice Christmas present.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Next one is me also is Cotton Blossom Road.
Yeah.
Tim, I've been asked Tim about this Cotton Blossom Road because the most of us know that Yandale Road is bagging up, overcrowded. We can't get traffic through. So on our transportation study, we were looking at a second way out of that area. And Cotton Blossom Road was brought up about reconstructing it and maybe getting traffic all the way over to North Oakland, then North Oakland all the way to 51. So, good to see you here, Jonathan. I want to see what would be the next step on us moving forward on trying to get in Cotton Blossom Road where people can travel.
Okay.
What would be our next step?
Well, as you mentioned, the east-west corridors are a vital future link that we've got to have. We've got to have more east-west corridors to get us to 55 and 51. This is a logical corridor. Part of it is there with Cotton Blossom already in place. Granted, we need some upgrades on it, but the next step would be to look at an alignment, get some cost estimates together to see what it's going to be. This is a very similar project to Reunion 3, so it would be the same type alignment going through the same type of topography. So we expect it to be somewhere in that range, but we would really need to go down and do some actual cost estimating to see what it would be.
Okay.
You are aware that we do have the right of way on the Rankin property from Cotton Blossom, to Sywell Road, and there's we have that right of way lining that up. Are you aware of that?
I was not aware of that. I've looked at it on the tax maps, and it's not shown on the tax maps, but I'll definitely do some research on it.
Well, we were granted that right of way in 2012, or somewhere in that range.
Okay. All right, I'll get with you
And
on that.
that was east of Old Canton Road, is that right?
Just east of Old Canton Road,
Down to the Cotton Blossom line?
down to Cotton Blossom.
Okay. I know what he's talking about.
Tim, if you will, kind of shorten this up a little bit and just tell us exactly what you're asking us to do, or what we're asking you to do. Let me put it that way.
Well, I believe, from what I understand, I believe you were asking us as the engineering department to go back and see what our next step would be in order for us to begin a project to potentially upgrade the existing Cotton Blossom and possibly extend Cotton Blossom over to East Sowell.
Yeah,
And
that
we-
is it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd like to see how we can line up Sowell Road to where it comes across, where it hits 55 on the west side. There was open land where we could actually, I guess, near the bridge, come across and go and come off of where Sour Road is now and create a new path of Sour Road to tie it directly into where Sour Road hits 51. I don't know if any development has come into play that may make that more expensive or difficult. But the plans, the original plans that were done, that I don't know what happened to them after I left here in 16, but we had a plan that connected Cotton Blossom at 43 all the way to Sour Road and the Sour Road interchange.
Right.
As a straight shot. And well, wasn't quite straight, but as a continuous road. And I don't know where those plans are either.
I haven't found them yet, but I'm continuing to look.
Those plans are in the same place as they were when you were here.
That's what it is.
Wherever they are,
Wherever
that's
they
where
are.
they, because they haven't been moved.
Yeah.
So,
And,
But anyway, that's something that I wanted, to kind of focus on and looking at how do we get out of this, where Sour Road is now from 51 to Old Canton. Can we move it? Can we leave that as some interior street for those houses that are sitting right on top of it? Because you're gonna be locked into right-of-way issues and everything, trying to improve it where it is. If we can move it to where there's open land, it may be a lot easier to do. Won't cost, the cost is probably gonna be about the same, trying to deal with right-of-way issues with people's houses. Okay.
Right, I agree.
step 1, 2, maybe 3. What's our next 2 steps? Because this project, I've been holding back on it, waiting on reunion 1, 2, and 3. But seeing it's taking years to get those projects up and going. We got to start on Cotton Blossom before the development take over there, and we end up paying 5 times more for different right-of-way or buying people homes.
Right.
So
I think our next step would be to get an engineer involved, a consulting engineer, to help us with determining alignment, best alignment for the cheapest cost, as well as to actually do the design for it. And as you mentioned, that there's a lot of vacant land in there that could become a subdivision very quickly. So getting right-of-way is a very important part of this on the front end.
Yeah.
are we sure, because I'm hearing a couple of things here, and just want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as what we're actually trying to do. So what I'm hearing you say is that if we get an engineer involved, and they would understand what we just said,
I believe so.
put something back together to
I
bring
think
back.
Carl took it a little far.
I mean, I'm trying
To
to,
the right.
I'm not sure everybody's on the same page is what I'm saying, but we can get there, pretty easy.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is go back and see if I can find any remnants of the plans, or, what we have, if anything.
That's right.
And I'm going to check on the right-of-way, the existing right-of-way that we have through there. And then from there, yes, I think we need to bring an engineer on to help with an environmental study, which will give us alignment and rough cost estimates and tell us what mitigation we're going to have to do.
Right, okay.
Yeah, next meeting, you'll be able to tell us a little bit more of what you're saying.
I can.
After you look into it. Okay, that's step 1 right there.
There's step 1.
Yeah.
That means we're gonna need 1, 2, and 3. That
One is
sound
get that
great.
engineer involved, 2 is buy right-of-way, and 3 is find funding.
And you got to tell Scott, don't let no subdivision come up there right away.
'Cause
So,
it-
after
down the
this
road-
conversation,
Yeah, the end of the road it's way overloaded.
Dangerous.
Been
And it's
that way.
narrow. It's narrow.
It is, and there's no, because of Highway 51 at Yandle having one receiving lane in each direction, it doesn't matter how much you widen Yandle, you still got a bottleneck there at 51.
yeah, still gonna have that bottleneck. And it's only gonna get worse.
And it's very popular area for people to build, and as you develop this new extension,
you're gonna see more development in
Yeah,
that area
and that's
also.
what we want.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we want that.
But having that direct connection from Highway 43 all the way to I-55 is gonna be a huge improvement in that
Yeah,
area.
exactly. Sound great. All right, Jonathan, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Tim, thank you. We'll be looking for that information next meeting.
All right.
All right, moving right along, our business item. There's Madison County Business League. Who said they wasn't on here?
Oh, hey, we passed that.
Yeah, we passed it.
All right, we'll move on down now to
Paul Lanning, Allen Engineering,
Paul Lanning.
Paul Lanning.
stormwater permit training.
All right, as you all know, we have a NPDES permit through the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality. And what that is they make sure that we are complying with all of the requirements that must be met for the shop, for the road department, and also for development in the county. It's a very important thing that we do, in that one of the things is that when silt gets into the stormwater, it clogs up the storm system and it causes flooding issues. So that is one part of it, but it's also the part of keeping the water clean so that we have healthy drinking water in the future. But with that, I'm going to introduce Paul Allen, Paul Lanning with Allen Engineering. He is going to give us a brief update on our quality.
All right, come right on up, Paul.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Board.
All
Yeah, it was
right.
good sitting in the audience there, listening to Mr. Banks talk about the flood study that Wagner did. Wagner's obviously a competitor of ours, but understanding where the flooding issues are and correcting that's obviously vital to keeping people safe and keeping expenses down in the county. With that said, I also work with Madison and Ridgeland and Madison County are all three of my clients in this area. So if there's ever anything I can do to assist the county, just let me know, because again, I work with all those entities. But I'm just going to take a couple minutes. I see a little 2-minute limit. I'll probably be under that, I promise. I just want to make 3 quick points. So about once every 5 years, DEQ comes and looks at your program. They look at the documentation of all the trainings we're doing, the inspections we're doing, and everything we're doing throughout the year. And so this past June of this year, DEQ came in and did an inspection or an audit of the program. And this is not just a thing where they just check the box. They're really looking for a deficiency so they can fine you. In our area, cities have been fined $39,000 and $65,000. Happy to report that we passed with flying colors. So that's my first point, is they came in, looked at our stormwater program. We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. So that's a good thing there. Second point is about once every 5 years, again, 5-year cycle, they like to do that. They're going to update the stormwater general permit. And so we, as your consultant, we write the stormwater management plan. That's basically a checklist that the county has to do throughout the year. So depending on what that permit says, we might have to modify some language to make sure we're meeting all those requirements. And then the last point, you guys were talking about, I guess you had the delegation in here earlier talking about some of the road expansion projects, which are going to be great once they're complete. But while they're under construction, or when they get funding and get under construction, we have to make sure that the contractors are reducing the erosion and sediment off those sites. Obviously, Bozeman expansion is going to be a very visible project. And so you might get some phone calls if somebody sees chocolate milk water running down their creeks. So that's really just the 3 points I wanted to make. You passed the audit. We might have to update the stormwater management plan based on the permit. And then those 3 road projects that once they get expanded, they're going to have to watch for erosion and sediment. Your staff does a great job. They go out around the county throughout the days and weeks looking at your construction sites and making sure they're keeping their erosion sediment control practices up and in good working order. So your staff does a great job. It makes my job easy because if I call Tim, I need something, he makes it happen pretty quick. So that's what I had. If you guys have any questions about the program, I'm happy to answer it. I've given an 1.5-hour webinar, so I can talk as long as you want. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, nothing, but I'm glad our staff do a good job. That's good to hear. And thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Drew, you up.
Mr. President, Board of Supervisors, good morning.
Morning.
Buildings and Grounds has one item. I am requesting approval of a rate increase for Terry Services contract. They provide HVAC work for all of our county-owned buildings.
All right. Any question? There's a motion?
Are you satisfied with it?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Gerald, second by Sheila. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Drew. All right, Tim, you back up?
All right. First item I have for you is the preliminary plat for Clarkdale Estates. This is a 5-lot subdivision on 29.55 acres with no public infrastructure. This is the preliminary plat for this.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next item I have is the final plat for the same subdivision. It's the same as the
Same
preliminary plat.
motion.
Yep.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next item I have is the final plat for Windy Hills Estates. It's a 4-lot subdivision on 14.84 acres with no public infrastructure. This one borders Windy Hill, Willow Way, and Stormy Drive.
Move.
All right, motion by Carl. I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, what
Final item
else?
I have is the supplemental agreement number 6 to the contract of Mississippi Engineering Group for Reunion 2. This is to provide some additional right-of-way work as well as some additional environmental work.
Make a motion for approval?
Got a motion by Gerald,
Second.
second by Carl. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Fit? All right. Scott not here, you taking his, Andy, you taking his spot?
Yes, sir. Mr.
All
Weeks
right.
is a little under the weather this morning, so he just had one item here. This is also a preliminary plat in Meadows at Stout Farms, Part 1, on Stout Road, property zoned A1 agriculture, and it's in Supervisor District 4.
Carl.
Move.
Got a motion by Carl,
Second?
second by Gerald.
That's the Meadows at Stout Farms? Is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, sir.
At the end? All right. All right. Attorney at Law, Mr. Mike Espy.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning.
All right, item 37 relates to NRCS expansion. So there's a letter we received from Kurt Reedus, who's the head guy from Natural Resources and Conservation Service of USDA. It's quite a good letter. So I'd like, it's on the agenda, I'd like you to move to acknowledge the letter, and I'll explain what it means.
I'd like to make a motion that we acknowledge the letter from Mr. Kirk Reedus.
Motion by Carl,
I'll second.
second by Gerald. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. So explain it to us.
All right, I will. So due to our visits and to Washington and to here at Mississippi, our visits and our interactions with USDA NRCS, we've received approval for 3 projects since January of this year. The first one is the Upper Bear Creek project. See, you know, we got an approval letter for that project. It says you're approved of Upper Bear Creek, then quickly followed on with an amount, which was $23,500,000 for that Upper Bear Creek project. So we met with them here in Madison County, and they gave a green thumb to that project, and that project has begun. The planning and design of the Upper Bear Creek project has begun. It's going to take about a year to plan it with all the environmentals, but it was expedited because all of the preliminary studies were all waived. So we moved directly now to planning and design for Upper Bear Creek. So we're underway with that, $23,550,000. Secondly, and Mr. Higginbotham is going to explain this, but we were approved for Bachelor Creek project. Clean out that big old ugly ditch through Canton with everything in there. And now we received cost estimates for Bachelor Creek. Now, the Upper Bear Creek project is a 100% federally funded, but the Bachelor Creek is 75-25, and Greg is going to explain that. Now just move on. The third project, what's a result of this letter, is that we asked that NRCS will consider expanding the watershed program through really asked to all of Madison County. What they decided to do was just to expand it from Upper Bear Creek to all of Bear Creek. Now that automatically means that includes Madison, City of Madison, City of Gluckstadt, and Canton and Flora. That's where we are now. And they approved that in this letter that you just read into the minutes. Now, this is significant because the way the process works is you get approval for it first and then you get the money. So we've gotten approval by letter. They gave us $1.6 million for the Upper Bear Creek project, and that's to begin planning all of Bear Creek project. We know that's not going to be all of the money. That's the beginning of the money. So we've moved from 23.5 now to plus 1.6, and we have pitched them for $150 million. So we go from 20.5 plus 1.6, hopefully, to $150 million. I'm not saying today we have $150 million. I am telling you today that we're in the beginning stages of getting something like $150 million for all of this project. It has to be planned and designed. And then if the planning and design justifies $150 million, and I hope that it does, then we're going to go, and I believe we'll get that funding. So we just have to move quickly. And what Mr. Banks did with his committee has been great. What he said today earlier is needed. And we're just on a roll right now. So we need to just keep it going because we're not the only one getting money. Others are getting money. We're competing with them. So we need to move as quick as possible. So this is a great letter. I don't know if any other counties have been able to get this kind of funding from NRCS. Mississippi is great, and I just hope that we move quickly. And I'll let Mr. Banks explain the rest.
You know, Mike, you're right. We need to move quickly. And it's my understanding that that we, as a county, are being looked at from the federal side and I guess the state level in that whole deal. We're kind of looked at as kind of leading edge now. They're starting to turn around and look and send people to look at what we're doing and train on what we're doing, yes. Which we've got to keep going. We got to keep on being leading edge. My whole plan and the plan of this board is not to look up a couple of years from now and still see people having to be taken out of their homes in boats. We intend to make sure that we can do what we can to eradicate flooding and at least make sure that everybody's on board trying to make this happen. So I think that so far we made some good steps and some good moves, and we have to keep on doing it. We have to keep doing it quickly. The Kurt Reedus and the federal team has looked at us as saying, hey, you guys are working, we're going to help you work, and we're going to be partners with you. So I appreciate what they have done, and I appreciate the fact that everything seems to be falling in place. We just can't
stop.
We can't stop. We just got to keep on going.
This board had vision years ago to get this study. You know, this is an all-county flood study. We've used that as a battering ram, you know, to come in, and with all the other assets we have, we're getting noticed, and after we get noticed, we get money. So we're on the way. So thank you for acknowledging the letter, and I appreciate working with you.
I'd like to move to acknowledge this letter.
Second.
You know, place it in a minute.
I thought we just did.
Did we? Nope.
No. Or did we?
Yeah, we did.
If you did. I believe you did.
Voted and Mr. Steen voted to go ahead and acknowledge.
Acknowledge the letter. Place it in the minutes. Okay,
All
that's
right.
good.
Ms. Griffin, I would like to say thank you, Ms. Banks, for this. As we just passed you know, to our priorities earlier with the Business League, and this item was on that priority list, and that's the reason that all of those on that list are important to Madison County, as you just heard about the flooding. And Mike, again, want to thank you for your work and effort that you have put into this to make us be where we are today. And it's a great thing for Madison County.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And what we done earlier, we need to making sure that the engineers get with the cities so the cities can get the right information. So it's so important for the cities to set up a meeting as rapid as possible so the engineer can explain these things to them.
Mr. Griffin, could I be involved in those meetings because they need to know the whole picture, where the money's coming from?
Yeah.
And if these cities help us get the 150, we're gonna get it more quickly.
Okay, outstanding. Yeah. So Darren, you hear that? So y'all two be getting with the cities. All right. Move right along, Greg. Our
Morning,
county
Board.
Administrator. All right.
A few things for you today. Starting off, item 38 is I'm asking this board to acknowledge a new issuer rating from Moody's. Our long-term debt has historically been rated on a per-issue basis. In other words, every time we put out a bond, Moody's would come in and say, you guys are AA2. Because they changed some of their evaluation methods, Madison County received a rating as an issuer rather than on a per-issue basis. That rating is AA2, which is exactly what you would expect. It's among the tops in the state. We simply don't have the volume for a higher rating. There's AAA, there's AA1, and there's AA2. All of our ratings in the past have been AA2. This just applies it to the county rather than the individual issues.
Okay.
Make a motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Motion by Gerald, second by Carl. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Go ahead, Greg.
All right, item 39 is to acknowledge cost estimates for Bachelor's Creek. As Mr. Espy alluded to, we have made great strides in the area of flood control. These are ongoing strides. Part of that process is these cost estimates for Bachelor's Creek, which have been forwarded to the NRCS as part of the EWP program. To clean out Bachelor's Creek in total, according to the estimates from Wagner, will be $328,000. The county is not on the hook for all of that. It is a 25% match. 25% of that is $82,000. If we split it evenly with the city of Canton, the county portion would be $41,000. I'm not asking for a vote to spend the money, just asking for a vote to acknowledge the estimates.
Make a motion to acknowledge.
Second the motion.
Motion by Gerald, second by Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
All right, item 40 is a Red Cross funding request. The Red Cross is asking for $7,500 this year. It's perfectly okay to do that if this board elects to. We budgeted, I believe it was $5,000. In the past couple of years, we've alternated between giving them $5,000 and $6,000. This does represent a slight increase, but it's $1,500 at the most.
We budgeted for $5.
$5, yes, sir. That's what's been in the budget since 18, at
I'd
least.
make a motion to send them $5,000,
Second the motion.
since that's what we budgeted.
All right, you got a motion by Gerald, second by Carl.
Yeah, that's what we budgeted.
Any other discussion?
Okay.
I go along with what the budget is. If we're around here next budget year, we might need to look at it, Greg.
Yeah, look at it next
Absolutely.
year. That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, item 41 is, I'm asking this board to accept the fiscal year 2021 financial statements. These were compiled by BFMW Group. They've been compiling our statements forever. They do excellent work, and they finished our 2021 financial statements last week.
Motion.
Motion by Sheila,
Second.
second by Carl. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to know, I know we talked about this 4 months ago, I believe, that when we waiting on this audit, or is this?
This is just the financials. This is not the audit
This
yet.
is not the audit that we've been waiting
Correct.
on.
This is the first step in getting that audit, though.
Okay.
We have to have the financials before, in this case, the Office of the State Auditor can come in and audit them.
All right,
Good deal.
Okay.
did I carry that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, item 42 is, I'm requesting this board approve the proposal for BFMW Group to compile the financial statements for 22 and 23.
Motion.
Motion by Sheila, second by Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
All right, item 43 is a transfer of assets to the Pearl River Valley Water Supply District. We have in our engineering yard or road yard, a couple of old box cars, shipping containers. And Pearl River Valley would like them to essentially use them as culverts to get to some of their equipment. We are not using them. They have requested these 3 shipping containers, and so I'm asking this board to approve that transfer as being in the best interest of the taxpayers in accordance with 31-713.
You talking about these big railroad,
Yes.
huge, Cornelius, you got any use for them things?
Yeah, we got some that we got off Blackbeard.
Oh, you still got some down there?
Glamour surplus?
Yes.
Got a glamour surplus.
Yeah.
All right,
They're flat rail cars.
or they flat?
Right. Yeah, they'll be used as a bridge. It'll be the substructure of a bridge. They'll put wood on top of it and actually be able to drive over to get to a lift station or a,
Kinda like what you did up at South Spring.
generally the same thing, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
You have
Right.
to declare it
Declare it as a
surplus.
surplus.
Yes, declare it surplus and authorize the transfer.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Sheila, second by Carl.
Is this to declare it
Declare it
surplus?
surplus.
Okay.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
I make a motion to transfer then.
It's
As
second
being in the
motion.
best interest of the taxpayers, if you don't mind,
Second.
Supervisor Dean, just to comply with the
The
language.
best interest of the.
Motion by Gerald, second by Sheila. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
All right, item 44 is the Megasite Fire Station pad construction. I was requested to look at the cost of Makita doing the construction of the fire station pad, and then that's using dirt that's already on site. According to Civil Link, the total cost, if they do it this way, would be $463,300, whereas the bid that we received was $610,000, resulting in a difference of $146,700.
Yep, that's just the pad.
But it makes sense to do it at this point, to save roughly $147,000 at this point, from what I understand.
They are doing work on the road, and they will have the dirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, to save us that. So I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Gerald, second by Sheila. Comment. I guess we're gonna be asking the engineers. We got 2 of them in here. Might have more than that. If we if we go up there and set that pad up, and it sit there 2 years, 3 years, what type of damage are we gonna be looking at on tightening it back up?
I will defer to the folks with engineering backgrounds. Once you get it in there, the longer it sits, the more compact it's going to get. I mean,
Okay.
we try to get them as compact as we can when we get out there, but the longer time it sits there with nothing on it, the more compact it gets, so the better.
Compact you get.
Yeah, better
Okay.
foundation you get.
Yeah, let's see.
Good to hear. Good to hear. All right.
And y'all are working on the road now, or are they working on the road at this point?
It has been bid, but Mr. Wages can speak to the details.
It has been bid and awarded. We're in the process of getting all the contract documents executed so that we can start the work. But it has been awarded by Makita to Southern Rock. Just so you know, they did all the road work as far as grade and drain on the existing road. So I was very pleased. Got the same guy, knows our ground, knows our dirt, so we're working to execute that. And they were the contractor that submitted on the one bid for the fire station. So they are already familiar with the plans. I've had some discussions with them about some things we can alter, make better use from a site grading standpoint to bring this number down. I feel confident that this is the minimum you're going to save. We believe as we get going through it, we possibly can save a few more total dollars, but I didn't want to give you too high of an expectation, but we're very comfortable with the number that's been presented.
All right?
But save us all you can, Chad.
That's right, definitely. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carry.
That 4-0?
Yes,
I didn't hear any.
Yeah, I'll build a pad.
especially on the saving though.
Yeah, I vote on the savings.
Item 45.
Off we go to item 45, which is I'm requesting authorization to solicit a proposal for courthouse plans. As I'm sure you all remember, a few meetings ago, judges requested a new courthouse. My instructions from this board were to develop plans for a new courthouse. We've had 3 meetings with all of the judges. We do still need to run some things by the sheriff. With the holidays and things, sheriff has not been involved quite yet, but we're going to sit down with him soon. And at this point, the next step would be to get an architect involved. My suggestion would be JH&H, simply because they designed the Rankin County Courthouse. And at the very least, our circuit judges are very, very fond of the Rankin County Courthouse. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel in this case.
Be quiet. Don't say a word.
One thing I will say is that law enforcement, the sheriff, really should have been involved at the very beginning. But to say the least now, they definitely need to be involved with the safety concerns.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for getting them
All right.
involved.
Yeah.
Is there a motion on the architect?
I was just gonna say that
Go ahead.
Greg has kept us in the loop. We just hadn't sat down to give our opinion yet. By design, we wanted to give our opinion last.
Okay. They don't want to move them out of Rankin County. Okay, go ahead.
Nah, they don't. Right now, he's just looking to get an architect. His recommendation is JH&H.
What is the difference between now and what was done in 2019 with the architect? I mean, what are we asking to do different? Do you know?
The intention for me is to take it a little farther this time and get farther into the documents, into the construction documents, rather than stopping with schematics. If we can go ahead and get basically construction-ready documents, we can not necessarily have to have this conversation again in the future.
All right.
I got a question.
It's almost worth the motion just for that last statement you made.
Yeah. I got a
Go ahead,
question. My question is, where are we gonna build the new courthouse? On the mega site? I mean,
It could be.
We'll have a pad. We have dirt moved. We will have to acquire some land. My understanding is based on the estimated square footage, which is about 84,000 square feet. We'll need about 5 acres of land. The options for that in Canton are somewhat limited. The
Well, it
only
seems like we'd be going to Camden then. I can find you 5 acres up there.
Are we looking at and I guess I'm, of course, I was listening, here a month or 2 ago when the judge came in, but are we looking for a new courthouse or addition to the current courthouse?
we will present both options.
So far.
So what you're asking is to hire an engineer or architect to come back with both options
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Courthouse plans. Yes, sir.
in phases.
We can look at phasing it. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're suggesting JH&H.
I am, because
All
of
right,
their
I'll make a
experience.
motion to hire JH&H
Yeah.
for that purpose.
are there any limitations on where that courthouse can actually be?
Madison County is mighty big.
Yeah, Madison County is, I believe we can find 5 cheap acres in Camden,
Yeah, I just told him.
but,
There are some old archaic laws that I don't think anybody follows that say the sheriff has to have an office within half a mile. And there are some things that I would need to check on before I can tell you for sure. But I do not know of anything at this point that requires it to be in Canton proper. But
President, I have a motion on the board, and then I do want to follow up with a little discussion.
yeah.
All right,
Just
go
see if
ahead.
it gets a second. It may not even get a second.
The motion was to go ahead with JH&H, and I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. He mentioned the phases, Greg. I would like to see whatever they draw up where you can use it at phases and doing the whole thing also.
yes, sir.
All right? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion approved.
And what kind of time we looking at that? A month or 2, 6 months, 8 months?
There are folks from JH&H in the building who can tell you how quickly they can draw a courthouse. I hesitate to speak for them. Gentlemen, any thoughts on
No,
how
that's,
quickly?
that's okay. I don't need to put. you
Only
on
thing
the
about it
spot.
is I don't want this courthouse being designed before my South Spring project is designed.
We have a monthly meeting scheduled with them to make sure all of the projects are moving forward. So I don't want to push anything to the back burner.
All right.
Just to answer your question, generally, the time-consuming part is looking at all the options. Once that's done, drawing the drawings and design, it won't take that long. We're trying to come up with the best use of funds for the county is looking at sites. One of the things you would do is try and avoid, if possible, and I don't know if it's possible in Madison County.
Can you come up to the mic?
Yeah, come to the mic if you will.
The time-consuming part is just looking at the different options. And of course, that has to do with funds and things of that nature, sites. So we can assist the county in doing all that. Once that decision is made, whether it be all new renovation additions and all that in the site, then it can move relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But I think,
Yeah, I'm really interested in additional, adding to the one that we currently have. And that brings me to a question of what kind of budget do we have on this, Greg, as far as getting to that point?
We budgeted exactly $0 for this.
Well,
So-
we don't need to have unlimited budget.
No.
That's what I'm saying, because
Yeah,
then we're in
definitely.
trouble.
Correct.
I like 0.
That's what we got
Well,
budgeted.
Yeah, we
this
got
was,
budget.
this was unplanned. I didn't know this was coming. So
I tell
we
you
will
what,
work.
do, leave the motion as is, and before you get started, bring something back to us.
Absolutely. We'll
with
get the
a-
contract
with
approved.
a- Yeah, with some type of budget to
Yes,
where
sir.
everybody will understand. Guys, we all have to work together if we're gonna make anything happen.
And just to clarify, sir, you're looking for a budget for coming up with the plans, not the budget for the building, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's
Sweet.
right.
All right.
Just coming up with the plans, because I know we have met,
Mhm.
everybody has met, and we still seem to be at zero ground level.
Imagine that.
I'm agreeing with Gerald on, I would like to see something, on the site that the courthouse is on right now.
Okay.
So when you designing it, I guess you got to have something to fit that location and able to move it somewhere else if his board choose to move it somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Anything
All
else?
right, did we carry that vote, Ronnie?
Nope.
Sir.
We
Did?
did.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Thank you very much. And there, I do have one item for executive session, very briefly.
Somewhere else, I knew that. Come on. All right,
Oh, Michael, there, I'm not the
our
only one this time.
comptroller, Nassan.
Mike got stuff in the session also.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
And happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
Item number 46 is approval of the budget amendments and the interfund cash transfers.
Motion by Carl, second by Sheila. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving right along.
Number 46 and number 47 and 48 is approval of the claims docket and one payroll docket.
All right.
Motion by Gerald, second by Sheila. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Right along.
Number 49 is approval of the Fleet Corps claim docket.
Move.
Motion by Carl, second by Sheila. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
And the last item, Trustmark is our current depository. That's going to end in January. So I'm seeking approval to advertise for another 2-year period for our depository.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Carl, second by Gerald. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Ronnie Lott.
Move on that line. That's the approved order to invoice.
And happy Thanksgiving as well. You have before you, item number 51 should be on your iPads. Approve order to invoice and dispense Nissan Pilot payment.
Move.
Second.
The separate invoice for payments in lieu of tax from the Delta MOU between Madison County and Nissan was dated 4/23/2003. Nissan of North America's real property value was $340,941.29. Their personal property value is $1,969,987.22 for a total of $2,310,928.51. The county treasurer should allocate $1,369,016.03 to the Canton Public School District, $26,442.37 to Central Madison Fire Protection, and $915,475.11 to Madison County itself. I'd like to ask the board to approve, adopt, and enter the foregoing order that you have before you.
Move on the foregoing order that we have before us.
Motion by Carl,
Second.
second by Sheila. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right.
Central get 23,000
Yeah. That was 26.
and some change.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of area. Hi, Sheriff.
Nothing to report, Mr. President.
Old business. Now, I guess we'll get ready to go into executive session. Make that motion.
I move.
Sheila, you second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Close determination?
Yes.
My issue
All opposed? Motion
litigation.
carried. Litigation.
Yeah.
Okay, executive session?
Yeah.
Yes. Same motion by
Carl,
Carl, second by
Sheila.
Sheila. Same two.
Paul.